All right, man, we're back. It's after fight night. Look, I got my TMF gym gear on because I've decided it's time to get back into the gym. I used to go 2 hours a day every day, and then I just didn't. I weighed in last night at 197, and that's not going to cut it. I've gained like 14 pounds since November. So we got to start taking all this bulk and shaping it into something like one of these fellas right here. When you realize that you are weighing in at like almost heavyweight weigh-ins, you gotta do something because I don't look like him. So let's get on with it, man. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want some TMF gear, it is in the link below. Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gane. This fight highly anticipated. First of all, I want to see Francis fight. This is how I watched him fight. I didn't really pay much attention to Cyril Gane this whole ride up. Be honest with you, I just really didn't pay that much attention to him, except when he fought Derek Lewis. And just kind of smothered him. It was kind of a boring fight. This fight, honestly, also kind of boring. However, it was enlightening to watch because Francis has always just been this straight puncher, the bronze bomber, one punch, knock him down kind of dude. And we don't expect much else from him. We want to see that, right? And Gane, we thought we'd just see him pick him apart. Gane touched him a lot during this fight. He touched Francis a lot, but he never hurt him. It was all just taps. It was almost like little love taps. His kicks, punches weren't really landing. The elbows didn't land. We didn't see a lot. We saw him go for a takedown attempt, get stuff. What we ended up seeing was probably the biggest upset in betting history because Francis to win by decision in this fight was 1,200 to 1 odds. Gane was the favorite going into it. 1,200 to 1 odds. Francis Ngannou by decision. We don't see Francis go 5 rounds. We don't see him hardly ever go 3 rounds. So this was a huge upset for a lot of betting folks. I promise you that. But Ngannou has apparently been sitting over at Team Couture and just working on grappling. Who grapples this man? Who does he spar with? I think they just bring in like a black bear for him to spar with. Maybe he puts like a northern pine in a leg lock or something. How do you even prepare yourself in grappling against that dude? I get it. You can learn fundamentals and stuff, but how do you prepare yourself to grapple? See, he's got to be close to 300 pounds. I think he weighed in at 257. He's got to be 280, 285 fighting him right now. And the size difference was immediately apparent once they were in the ring. You started like, man, Francis is a lot bigger than him. I mean, height-wise, yeah, they're close, but that's about it. Francis is a beast of a dude. So you start teaching this big old grizzly bear jiu-jitsu, and this is what you get. You get a force, a movable force you cannot get off of you. And Gane, look, if you've ever wrestled or been in jiu-jitsu or any kind of grappling, you understand that right now, that dude is heavy as fuck. And how do you get him off you? No matter how strong you are, that dude is huge. We saw some major improvements from Ngannou. We saw probably the smartest fight IQ fight we've ever seen from him. This is the smartest fight he has ever played. He was patient. He was calm. He was just doing level changes. He used several different techniques here. He wasn't just in there just swinging for the hills. The smartest fighter we've seen out of Francis Ngannou yet. And I think it just surprised everybody. And going into like round 3, you're like, oh, man, I think Gane did enough to kind of stay there. But my belief is when you're judging these fights, the champion goes in with an advantage, right? The challenger has to prove that he's better than the champion. So we've seen this with like Israel Adesanya fights or Kamaru Usman, where they don't have to be the aggressor, right? They're defending their title. They're not out there proving that they deserve it. They already have it. And so I think that's kind of what we saw from him. And then the grappling was just unreal that we saw come out of Ngannou. Not like he's a black belt jiu-jitsu artist now, but in the heavyweight division, no one expected a move like that. Now we find out after the fight that he had a completely torn MCL, ACL a couple weeks prior, which is why he's got his knees wrapped up. And he didn't want to stand up too much with him because he was afraid that he was going to blow his knee out. That is crazy to think that dude even walked in there and took this fight and didn't back out of it. He could have sustained probably career-ending injuries in that fight. No lie. Like, if you have an injury that bad, it could get severely worse where the damage is irreversible. So props to Ngannou. After the press conference, I'm not real hopeful that we'll see him even fight again this year. You know, he's been saying, well, I get one fight a year. It's January. If he doesn't fight anybody to the end of 2022, he just rides out his contract. It's up. He's a free agent. If he does fight somebody, then the contract's up then. I don't know. I really hope that they don't just hold up the heavyweight division and then throw in another interim title. I think that would be a crock of shit. I would like to see these two guys go at it again. I'd also like to see Derek Lewis get back in there with him. But we'll end up having to see how this all plays out because there's, you know, really even Tai Tuivasa, throw him in there. He's a monster of a fighter in there. So get some of these big guys in there. Let's see what happens. Yeah, after watching this, I don't think Stipe is really the route to go. I definitely don't think John Jones is the route to go. But we'll see what happens. And what's next for Cyril Gane? Do they give him a rematch, or who does he fight? Because he smashed a lot of people on his way up. So maybe give John Jones Cyril Gane. Let's see that. You know, John Jones out there talking all this shit, not fighting anybody, wants a bunch of money. Let him go fight Cyril Gane. But mad props to both fighters. Congratulations to anyone who bet Francis Ngannou by decision. Ballsy move, but there we go. That was that fight. Wasn't fight of the night for me, but it was a hell of a fight. Thanks for watching. See you guys.